Hello, welcome to Big W BBQ. I'm Nate. Today we're going to be smoking up a ham. Thanks a lot for joining me today. If you're new to the channel, here you will find recipes as well as tips and tricks that will hopefully help your time out of the barbecue go just a little bit smoother. If you want to stay up to date on the most recent content, please consider subscribing to the channel or liking us on the below social media platforms. I do want to call out specifically Facebook. I'm trying out something new here where I'm kind of condensing these videos down to 1 or 2 minutes and just hitting the bullet points. If you're someone who doesn't have a whole lot of free time to watch these full videos, go ahead and check out the Facebook page and let me know what you think of the shorter videos. With the Easter holiday coming up, I wanted to smoke something that you guys could possibly serve at your Easter dinner. So regardless if you're going to be eating up this ham for your holiday or whether you're just going to cook it up just to enjoy it, I think you're really going to enjoy this recipe. What we're going to be working with here today is a 4 1/3 pound honey ham. I went ahead and purchased this from my grocery store. Now most of these hams that you're going to find are already pre-smoked, pre-prepared, and so with that in mind, all we're going to be doing today is one, we're going to be heating it up obviously, but we're going to be adding a little bit more smoke just to enhance that flavor even more. So more specifically what we're going to be doing here, I'm going to be making a honey mustard glaze that's going to be going on the outside as my binding agent, as well as it's going to give it a little flavor. And then I'm going to be preparing a brown sugar based rub that will be going on the outside of this ham. So with all this preparation, what we're going to have is a very flavorful, juicy, sweet tasting ham. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. Let's go ahead and start making our honey mustard sauce. So what I've got here is a 1/4 cup of yellow mustard and a 1/4 cup of just regular honey. So we're going to go ahead and combine the two ingredients. Go ahead and give that a good stir. Now, depending on how big of ham you've got, you may need to double this recipe, but this will be a good starting spot here. So as you may be able to tell here, I've got a mesh pan here that I've got the ham sitting in. If you've got one of these or a wire rack, I would definitely recommend using that. It's going to help with the transporting this here from the kitchen to the smoker, as well as from the smoker back. So definitely recommend that if you have that option. So then we're going to go ahead and use that honey mustard glaze that we created, and we're just going to go ahead and rub this on the outside. You want to make sure you get a pretty good coating here. You don't need to go too crazy. Again, this isn't going to add a whole lot of flavor. It's more for a binding agent, but it will give it a little flavor there. You can go ahead and put that off to the side for now. We'll need it again for the bottom part, but we can go ahead and get the rub mix up here. So like I mentioned a little bit ago, I've got a brown sugar based rub here I'm going to be using for the outside of this ham. So yes, go ahead and prepare that. This ingredient is going to be a 1/2 cup light brown sugar, 1/2 cup of sugar in the raw, and then I've got 3 seasonings here, a 1/2 teaspoon each of Spanish paprika, cinnamon, as well as nutmeg. Then we can go ahead and just give that a good mix. So now let's go ahead and add the rub to the ham. Okay, so that's a pretty good coating there on the outside. I'm going to go ahead and kind of rotate this a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and add some of that honey mustard here down to the bottom side. And add some rub there as well. Awesome, everything looks good. So now before we go ahead and put this out on the smoker, let's talk a little bit about how we're going to be preparing this. So I'm going to be smoking this out on my Weber Smoky Mountain. I'm going to have a pit temperature of around 250 degrees. Now like I mentioned earlier, there's already been smoke added to this piece of ham, as well as it's already been cooked. So all we're doing is we're warming it up. And so what we're going to be looking for is an internal temperature of 140 degrees. We don't want to go much above that because you run the risk of drying it out. So I would recommend sticking around that 140 degree temperature. Now, since I've got a smaller piece of ham, primarily just for portion size, but if you've had a larger family that you're going to be feeding, obviously it's going to take longer. But since this is a little over 4 pounds, I'm going to guess it's probably going to take a couple hours, maybe a little more. Again, I'm going to keep my eye on the temperature. I'm going to be shooting for that 140 degrees. As for the smoke, I'm going to be using apple smoke. Since this has already been pre-smoked, we don't want to get too crazy with the wood. We're just going to kind of enhance that smoke flavor. We're not going to overpower it. So that's the goal with that. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and head out to the smoker. Something you may want to do periodically throughout this cook is check on the ham's color. Once you get to the desired color that you're looking for, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and tint it with a piece of tin foil. What that's going to do is it's going to help preserve the current color that it is without it getting any more dark. Alright, now that we're back inside, we're going to go ahead and let this ham rest for half hour to 45 minutes. And all we're going to do is we're going to let those juices reabsorb. And in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and use that tin foil that I used earlier to tent the ham, just to kind of preserve some of that heat so it doesn't get too cool too fast. It's been about a half hour now, so I think this ham is ready to be carved. So this particular ham does not have a bone in it, so you can go ahead and carve it whichever way you like. I'm going to kind of come in from the top there, so I want to make sure my first bite has that good bark on the outside of this. That looks good. Looks like we got quite a bit of moisture left here still, so that's always a good thing to see. Let's go ahead and take a first bite. It's very good ham. A couple things that kind of stand out right away is I can definitely taste the rub that we put on that. It's very sweet, definitely enhances the ham, I would say, as well as there's some good moisture to it, and the smoke flavor is just perfect. You know, it's not too heavy, but it's more than what would be without the smoker there. So that's exactly what we're looking for. Let's try one more bite. Yeah, so I would say that this smoke was very successful. Very pleased with how this all turned out. I think that this recipe here would be a great supplement to your Easter holiday coming up. Thanks so much for hanging out with me here today. I greatly appreciate you taking the time. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this recipe, as well as is there any other rubs or ways that you have enhanced a ham like this before. Something new that I'm going to be trying this year is I'm going to be releasing new videos every other Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time. So be sure to keep an eye on that. Thanks again, guys, for hanging out with me here today. Remember, if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and I'll see you in a couple weeks.